Hello and welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Eric, joined once again with my buddy Bevan,
Hey, how you going, guys?
bringing you some more Dallas. Season 6, episodes 22 to 25. Tell me roll the credits and we'll chat. These were really good episodes. I like, I didn't feel like there was any filler in them. Like there was just a lot of things needed to happen.
I actually think these like couple episodes focused more on core stories. So you had less of the sort of like the last couple of weeks they'd be like, ooh, serious sort of like Pam Bobby separation stuff or whatever. But you kind of had like all the sort of setup happening in the background, like the smaller scenes or this or that. And I think this is just where it all starts to play out, where they're like, okay, so we've got these sort of plot lines going, and it's just more. I think they're probably because they're heading towards end of season. It's just like more focus, or not that it wasn't before, but it's just heavily focused on these plots.
Right, and I feel like Sue Ellen was kind of not back burner, but just kind of not on as much. But now it's building her up for big things.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. So it's sort of like the big plot involving like JR's scheme and all that. It's like all the little setups that we've seen in smaller scenes prior. It's all sort of flowing and playing out really well. Like so, I think it's like I wouldn't even say it's. I wouldn't really say a whole lot of season six is ultimately filler because everything builds and like largely pays off. I just think that, from memory, anyways, because it has been a while. Heading into the end of season, it just kind of like is really flowy. That just sort of hits each target as it goes really well.
It really does. And I love Holly in these episodes too.
I've always
I do.
liked Holly, but like she's kind of awful at the same time that she does this. So
She, we'll get into it. So the
yeah,
first
yeah.
episode, or episode 22, is the Sting. Walt Driscoll's still around for now. He goes
For
to
like
leave
a
the
bit.
hotel. He goes to leave the hotel. Ray stops him. The cop comes to get a report. Of course, we know it's a setup from Bobby. Bobby switches the briefcases. Um, they check it. It's a lot of moolah. The security stops Walt at the airport because where's he going? I forget if he's going to Cuba or Puerto Rico. I'm losing track.
I don't. I think he's going back. I want to say he's going back to Cuba, but I'm not 100%. I think it's more. I
I
don't
feel
necessarily think where he's going is super important as much as that he's because it's about the money. It's about getting JR's money, and I'm pretty sure and all that. So I'm pretty sure he's going to Cuba, but they've just got to get him before he leaves.
right. And he has guns in his briefcase, so of course, he
I was
can't
right.
get.
I did remember that correctly when I mentioned it. I think last recording.
Yeah. So I guess he gets arrested because you can't do
Yeah,
that.
no, you
um,
can't. Can
not
I
the
just
new.
say that the actor playing Walt is looking sus as fuck the whole time? Like
I
he's
know.
sweating bullets. And I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be acting like you don't know something's in there. Like,
Right. I just, he messed with the wrong person. Like you can't get involved with JR. Like this is how it
this
is.
is
He should
true.
have time.
Yeah, this is true.
Um, so Roy, the TV guy, is still around. Him and Sue Ellen are waiting for JR. And we see that JR had just banged Serena. Serena's back for her per season banging. Um, and it sucks because this is the first time JR cheated, right? Since Sue Ellen and him got married.
I mean, if you want to count that weird rapey stuff with Holly a little bit earlier in the season,
Yeah, but
um,
he didn't though. He didn't
no,
last
he didn't.
episode.
He didn't, but like it's still like, yeah. I guess it is properly cheap. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
at least the first definite on screen that we've seen.
Hmm. So the first cheating since they got remarried, and it was with Serena, who's only in this episode. Or in that one, yeah, the one episode this season, I think. She might
Mhm.
have been earlier this season. I can't remember last time we seen her.
I think it was last season, but yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I think he used her for something like to catch somebody or whatever. I forget what it was. Ellie and Clayton see Pam and Mark during lunch.
Actually, really quickly, I think it was season 6. It was to get a look at the will. So blackmailed Harv Smithfield's like little protege.
So it was earlier this season then.
Yes, yeah. I can't believe. Yeah, I was just thinking we watched so much of it. Like I know it's only season 6 and there's like 14, but like it just feels like we have watched a lot of it now. So it's trying to remember when the last time you see these people because they do recur.
Yeah, I mean, and then Serena, I think, goes missing for like 3 or 4. Well, not goes missing, but just not
Yeah.
around 4 or 5 seasons, and then she comes back in like season 10, and you're like, what? Where's she been?
Oh,
So
hey,
funny.
girl.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember she goes. She's not on for a few years, and then she pops in like I want to say like 11 or 12, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about Serena because it's been that long.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, early on, I think she's used a lot more. So yes, so Ellie and Clayton see Pam and Mark doing lunch. I guess she gets an idea in her head, like, what's going on here? It feels weird because it's not Bobby. What's happening? Um,
It's also, I think with Pam and Mark too, because Pam, I see, I like a little bit of this. So, like, um, it's more like people reacting to Pam and Mark's chemistry. So the way they look together, the way they seem to speak to each other, even though Pam's just like, oh, we're just friends having a business meeting, or oh, we're talking about Cliff, or something like that. Like, it's like Pam knows that there's something there, but she doesn't acknowledge it. And it's obviously because like her and Bobby are still up in the air and stuff like that. But it's kind of like this willful ignorance almost, I think, on Pam's part. But
mm,
not in a like she's a bad character sort of way. It's just I think a thing where she's a little bit in denial that that's what they look like a couple.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of more about how they look rather than what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sly
which I
tells
kind of
J
like.
Sly tells JR that Walt is in jail. He goes to jail to see him. JR plans on meeting the contact to make sure the deal is still on, as Walt cannot now. Mickey and Lucy are on. They just get home from dancing. He wants to ask her for a kiss. It's really cute. And like he's like, I really like you. She's like, I really like you too.
I actually
So
really like all their cute shit over these couple of episodes. They feature a little bit more. I also think that because they're building into the Aunt Lil story as well, because she does pop in.
right. And Lucy needed this kind of like a rehab for her in a sense, to help her through because of what she went through with the rape and the
What
abortion.
what I do like is that since Roger, they have kept Lucy like fairly like independent. Like she's not sort of just out boy mad, sort of like she was before. But at the same time, it's still on the back burner. Like I just it's frustrating. But then when you do actually watch what they do, it's good. But it just happens all too quickly, in my opinion. I'm like, God damn it, guys! Like, couldn't you just given her a little bit more, just a tiny little bit more? You know?
Well, they could have involved her more in the business stuff, I feel like, if they wanted to give her anything to do. Like involve her
But
at Ewing. Why couldn't she be a
it's just that thing of like Lucy. They never seem to know what the hell to do with Lucy.
but they should have done like you know what I mean? Like if it's about the Ewing business, why didn't Jock have his granddaughter working at Ewing? Because she's a
Why
girl.
doesn't Okay, well, probably, maybe, because he's also got the sun thing, blah blah blah. And you know what? Like Lucy would have to. I would just think that it would have been nice to see Lucy. I do agree. I don't know if necessarily have her sort of so entrenched in Ewing as Bobby and JR are, but it's certainly in a sense where we can see her assertiveness and her strengths in the sense of taking on the one uncle, for instance, that we know is going to be an asshole to her and make an issue. So like even if she just fought for her place in lieu of her father, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to be super directly involved, but having her in a position of authority does create more hurdles for JR to work around, and in doing so would sort of like ultimately entrench her in JR's schemes and stories, because he is really the major driver of conflict in this whole show. So like I think some of the dramas would occur without him, but largely JR drives every conflict in this show.
Of course. And speaking of, JR gets a hold of Garcia, the other contact,
Yes, he
uh,
does.
the Puerto Rico contact, I think this is, and he said
Yeah.
that this he tells him he has to go to Cuba to get to get the $40 million. Bobby questions Pam about um, her lunch with Mark because I guess Ellie had mentioned it,
Yeah,
and she's like, "What? We're just friends, whatever." Jr. leaves Walt in prison. Jr. figures out Ray and Bobby were involved in the sting.
he does. Yes.
Bobby yells at him.
Yeah.
Catherine Catherine stands by Pam in this
Mhm.
situation. Um, I think she says to Pam, like, see who you want, whatever. Don't worry about what other people say because everybody talks and everybody's a gossip.
Yeah.
Cliff comes in. He wants to make Mark's oil company into the biggest company ever. I'm like, all right. So now Cliff's back
Yeah.
to being Cliff. Um, it only took him about 10 episodes. Ellie tells,
Well, to be fair, he's been pretty mopey for a lot of the season, and it has, like, in fairness, they actually kind of did approach his sort of like reawakening and his sort of thing a little bit like pretty well. Like, it's taken the bulk of the season for him to sort of get back to where he was towards the end of season 5. So I think that's actually not too bad.
no, and he's there now.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Ellie, Ellie tells Bobby that she's upset about his marriage. Mickey gets a hotel for he and Lucy to bang, but he's being really sweet. And Lucy opens up and tells him about the rape and the abortion and all that stuff. So they have like a touching moment. They don't actually have sex, which is nice.
Mm.
They just get to be together. I think later on he also says something like, "Oh, I don't want it to cheapen our thing, like to do it in a hotel room," which I'm like, "Oh, this is so sweet."
Yeah, he mentions that or something because she's like, and then she sort of responds with the, well, it doesn't really matter where we do it for me because, like, it's, what was it? It was nothing I could do with you would be cheap or something
Yeah,
like that. It was really sweet.
I know it was.
And I'm like,
Um,
oh, where are the Mickeys and Lucys of the world?
yeah, right. I
uh,
mean it, and there's I like how it grew for them this season too. Like it was like a
yeah,
good pace.
yeah.
Catherine goes to see Jr. about Cliff and Bobby. Um, when Bobby drops Christopher off, Mark is there, and he picks a phone. Of course, Pam's like, "Get out of my house! Don't do this in my home." Bobby gets all mad and leaves because that's how it always goes for them now. Unfortunately, for us Bobby and Pam fans.
I'm a
Um,
Bobby and Pam fan. It was really nice at the end of season 8. I did really like that scene until the following scene. But yes.
there yet. um, where was I? Pam. Catherine tells Jr. that she'll basically be his spy because she has it
Mhm.
in Cliff and and Pam. Bobby finds out Jr. is $12 million ahead of him. For the end, I guess the end of whatever to figure out who's going to be the winning brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Cliff and Cliff and Afton meet up with the cartel about buying Mark's company. JR and Garcia talk. He wants more money. He wants $10 million now. Holly goes to JR. She's like, "Where's my money?" He tries to
Mhm.
blame Bob. He's like, "Oh no, you ain't gonna blame him, buddy. It's your problem." Um, and she needs her $17 million because that's how much she gets, and she threatens him. And that's the end of that episode.
I will say that I love the so after this episode I sort of had like a bit of a memory, like a bit of a few memories come back of how it plays out. And I actually love how this all sort of plays out in a complicated moral way where like everyone is kind of culpable for the bullshit that happens. And it completely fucks like 4 or 5 people's lives completely. like and in lieu of Rebecca's already dead. You know what I mean? Like, I actually love the way this season just blows everybody apart in a really. I mean, it's awful seeing everybody unhappy, but like, it's just done really well.
Well, that's why we watch it.
Yeah,
We want to see them happy.
No, but
And
it's just how often does it just feels like authentic character driven plots rather than plot driven characters. Now, don't get me wrong, I've said it before, but I love my daytimes and I love my crazy soaps, the ones that do have the outrageous plots. But it is really nice if you can have outrageous plots that are driven by characters as well.
yep, I agree.
Not just because you need drama. And I think Dallas was always, it doesn't have too many crazy things like body doubles or anything, but like it's always managed to find a really decent balance between the campy soap shit and like proper character drama.
And be a little bit more reality than
Well,
other.
I mean, like realism is a theme, you know what I mean? It's a theme to convey, to be able to have your audience relate to these larger than life characters. So like when I always think realism, I mean, it's an aesthetic as well for film, which it does have. But I think everything employs realism to a degree. Even fantasy employs realism, otherwise, people wouldn't relate to the characters.
Yeah,
It's just presenting your crazy fantasy world in a way that is not other. And so people can, and that's how you get in touch with an audience. You can't alienate them entirely. If you do, it has to be in like an opposition or a juxtaposition effect against someone who isn't.
and not like Michael Bay the situation and just blow shit up.
Yeah, or like the Xenomorph. It's originally not incorporating it's like little backstory or whatever. It's the complete opposite of humanity. It's completely not human. It's the complete other, and it's vicious. And like it's not that humans aren't violent or anything, but it's everything other and bad about humanity. It's
Right.
exists in opposition to us.
So episode 23, Hell Hath No Fury. JR meets with Richard about a trip to Cuba for him and Sue Ellen. Bobby goes to see Holly about the $17 million. He says he warned
Mm,
her, and he
he did,
did.
but this is that thing of like, I feel bad for Holly because she was just like she couldn't do like get do anything.
She she didn't know what to do in the beginning, and JR only wanted 25%. And at the time, I guess for her, she was just like, it's only 25%. It's not 50%. It's not
Yeah.
51%. So
Mm,
it seems like a good deal. And, but, and she didn't know JR to this degree either. So she just got herself into some shit. And unfortunately, here we are. This
yeah.
is what she's got to deal with. Um, but I like her and Bobby together too. Cause like, I feel like
Yeah.
Hollywood a good one to like keep around if possible. But we all know that Miss
Usually early season 7. I want to say early season 7, like the first few episodes, but I can't remember exactly.
yeah, she comes back for one or two in season 7. She's pretty much done after the
Yeah.
finale. But we all know that Priscilla Presley's coming, so
Mm.
can't hang around. um, so yeah, he's like, I told you you should have gotten out when you should have, But she's like, well, I was kind of blackmailed into it. I had no choice, or he's gonna ruin my company. Like
Yeah.
I had no, she had her by the balls in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, Roy's still on, the TV guy. I didn't know. Does this lead to anything? I feel like it doesn't.
I
Is
really
Roy?
don't think it does, but I can't remember. I didn't even remember that Riley was in it. I was going to say Alistair. Alistair.
I,
I can't think of. You, every time I see him, I just think of Alistair. Even when he was on Sunset Beach, he was basically Alistair without the power, and then he gets shot to death in the first few episodes. I was like, oh, okay.
I knew him from Three's Company, like comedy and like different shows. So before I even knew him from these soaps, and he's in
Yeah,
like every soap opera, which is crazy.
yeah.
What a career. Um, So Roy, JR, and Sue Ellen are talking at the house. Clayton comes to get Ellie because they're still kind of dating, seeing each other, whatever's happening with them. Growing romance without
Old
being a.
people cuties. Old people cuteness.
It is cute. I love them. I felt so bad for Ellie. Why is it? We should never feel bad for Ellie because of everything that she has gone down with the family. But I always feel bad for her. I don't know why. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, we both have issues with Ellie and her being a shit mom.
Yeah.
Everybody hurts her. We're like, don't you hurt Ellie?
I mean, it's
So
because she is actually, through all her bullshit and maybe her inaction when she should have actioned more. I think it's like because Ellie is written, and Barbara Bel Geddes is phenomenal in the role. Um,
she's
I
been
think she's
nominated 5 times at this
she
point.
was she's never like she's not a bad person. You know what I mean? She's not really a bad mom as much as she's made mistakes as a mom. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
no, but like bad mom, I don't know. I think when you think of like bad mom, generally you're thinking of kind of like this either negligent or abusive types or something like that. And I don't know. I think she was like, I think she's played a back seat to Jock
She,
because he
she
ran
allowed
everything.
she allowed things to happen that she should
Oh
not
yeah,
have
yeah,
happened. She should
absolutely.
have kicked Gary out. She should have fought for him tooth and nail, but whatever. Here we are.
The thing is that Gary probably like I think she should have fought for Gary more. Like Gary was an alcoholic addict, and they are train wrecks, and he would have left anyway.
Yep. I mean, they keep Sue Ellen in the house, and she's gone through it multiple times. You
True,
know.
but Sue Ellen, she became an like. Don't just not to say that it's not the same sort of problematic behavior, but Gary's been doing it since he was a kid. Sue Ellen did it as a coping mechanism as an adult. Not to say that it doesn't lead to things, but Gary has that. It's more like ingrained because he used to use it as coping as a child or as a teenager.
So Mickey and Lucy are on. She's at a photo shoot or whatever. With this, I looked up that actress that was her photographer. She's like in a ton of stuff. She does a lot of. She just did something like
Sorry,
last year.
Lucy. Was it Lucy's photographer you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She looked familiar to me, and she is in a lot of things. But anyway, Mickey and Lucy kiss after that, whatever. So I guess they're kind of in a relationship officially now. I don't know. Kind of formed into it without like saying they were in a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where he says like the hotel cheapens how I feel about you, and that's where we were at.
Yeah.
Um, this guy Thornton tells Bobby the fields aren't coming in fast enough for his deadline. Oh, which is I think the drill bit part
Yeah,
where he's
it's up in like Alaska or where was it that they're drilling? It's up in some snow palace. I don't know. Like
isn't it
what was it, sorry?
the Canadian deal,
Yeah.
Canada?
Oh, so it's up in Canada. Yeah.
I didn't even know they had drilling in Canada for them. I'm like, where did that come from?
Well, I'm sure
Um,
drilling exists in Canada. Like this is.
I didn't know the Ewings would, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know because in that sense, wouldn't it be like worldwide Ewings at that point because they're a different country?
I mean,
Maybe it's just
I guess that's true, but it's like what was it? Isn't it like Ewing is going into on the deal with someone else? So but like all at the same time it's still on the North American continent. So I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose you could
But
say that.
we'll get
Anyway,
more into there because I know the McLeishes are around, and the McLeishes are the ones that are the Canadian people.
yeah.
Um, Cliff says you can get Bobby back if he gets the McLeish deal. He says it to Pam.
Mm.
Um, Holly sees Sue Ellen and befriends her, compliments her hair. So we know that Holly's up to something because obviously she wants to get back at JR for losing her money.
And she threatened him at the end of the last episode, so schemes are afoot.
Hmm. Pam calls to meet up with Bobby. She feels bad about the Canadian deal falling through or whatever this is happening with that. Holly goes to JR with a truce, and of course he falls for it because he's an idiot. She kisses him and acts like she wants to be with him, and we all know that Holly can't stand the man.
Well,
But JR
like JR's a weakling when it comes to that stuff. It's like, you get him, you scam him through money, you get him in his wallet, or you hit him in his groin, and that's how you get him. Like,
and his ego's so big that he thinks that all of a sudden Holly, who held a gun at him in bed one time and said, "Never touch me," all of a sudden wants him, and he falls for it like this. Not
yeah,
even a minute's hesitation.
In saying that, you think that's ridiculous, but when you think of how friggin' wow, almost narcissistic JR is, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I could believe that.
So Bobby and Pam reconnect. So this is a little bone thrown at us, Bobby and Pam fans, and they
He
make
threw
out.
Pam a bone, definitely.
Definitely, he stays the night, so we know they slept together. JR and Holly go out for a drink, but she's still like kind of leading them in and then pushing them back. She's like, "Oh, I need time." This is where she wanted to get lipstick stain on his collar.
To set up, yeah. Really quickly with the Bobby and Pam thing. Have we gotten to the night after yet? Or was that scene a little bit later?
The morning after,
Sorry, yeah, the morning after.
yeah,
That was a
yeah.
little bit Was it a little bit later, or was it in the same chunk of scenery before? Because I can't remember exactly.
No, it's right now.
Oh,
Bobby and Benz. That's what I got.
okay, yeah. So, what did you actually think of that? Like, I felt like Bobby was being a little presumptuous. That suddenly, just because they had sex and that chemistry is there, that it meant that the issue was done and that she could just move back.
Right. Like that made no sense to me for him to think that because I'm like, they just had a nice moment. He should have wrapped up the morning and been like, let's do lunch later or something, where
Well, that's the
he's
thing, though. I actually feel like because of the way they are, that his reaction and her reaction is almost perfect. Like, because even and it provides that sort of miscommunication in those situations that can occur, and I like that it's kind of real. Like, and he even does like the opposing side thing, who does sort of think that, where she's just like, no, it was a moment, and then he's just like, wow, and so it says something that's a little bit of an overreaction. And because he doesn't think of Pam like he has to send her a paycheck, but it hurt him, so he hurts her back by being
yeah,
rude. But like,
yeah.
but like, I actually really liked that scene just because I just thought it was generally pretty real, and I think it was just like, well, the problems still exist, and we've had a moment, yeah, but she's never not said that she loved him either. She's never
Right.
said that.
But the way she said it was pretty brutal too. Like, well, yeah, because she's like, we had a moment, and I feel like I felt Bobby in this sense. I mean, he shouldn't have said what he said,
No.
but he say like, I feel almost feel like I need to pay you for services rendered, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, and it should have hit her. Like, I felt like she kind of deserved it.
Well, I
Um,
just saw the moment as like, saw the moment thing is that's exactly what it was, because their problems still exist. So there's no
right.
point in sort of moving back. Yes, he's presumptuous, but it's like, then maybe they could have, like, they never actually talked about anything. They just kind of vibed with each other and had sex, and like, I just think it's kind of a very kind of little real interaction that people still kind of do now. Even
The
like you talk to your friends and they're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, you didn't really talk.
right thing for them to do would have been he should have said, "We'll meet for lunch later," and leave
Oh,
it, or
yeah,
she should have done the same. Like, just like we had a moment, but can we talk about this later? Like, that's how they handle it. Because like, let me deal with this. Like, I'm not moving right back home. Like, because that's what he wanted all of a sudden, thinking
yeah,
everything is solved by banging.
yeah.
So I feel like they were both kind of in the wrong, but like you said, a miscommunication of sorts.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about it. I like that, and that's what I mean. Like, I can understand her moment thing, but I can also understand where he's coming from in terms of like how they've always been. You know what I mean? But that's the thing; they aren't like that anymore because things have changed, and it's just all this actual character character characterizations that are like really good, and
Right.
flawed, or and this isn't just simply Bobby and Pam's typical miscommunication or not talking that we often joke about.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this was more, not that it wasn't before, but I just feel like this sort of stuff with them is more very authentic.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that Mark comes in with flowers for her as Bobby.
I laughed. I forgot about that, and I actually laughed because I was like, "Oh my god, that is the worst timing." Imagine if it became any earlier, you probably would have seen him naked. Like,
Yeah, seriously. Mark. He still gets on my nerve. I'm like, leave
he
just
even
whatever.
said, he's like, "Oh, my timing is perfect."
So JR and McSwain go to Walt, this McSwain dude, the guy that he always gets involved with for these antics. That McSwain, I guess, has no life and just is always there for JR whenever he needs something rotten done.
Yeah,
Um, so they go to Walt. He's like, no. And then he wants the Cuban contact, but he won't give in or whatever. And then he says JR is like, he's too far gone. We'll just leave. We'll figure it out another way.
yeah.
So it's done for now. Does he come back? I feel like he does. Oh, he does.
Well, he absolutely does. Yeah,
He does. I totally remembered. I think the finale, I believe.
I think it's in like these last three episodes. Like in
Yeah.
our next recording. Yeah, we'll cover all that because I think it's pretty much the next episode.
Um, Ray, Donna, and Bobby talk about JR and the race for Ewing. I just wanted to point out that they were on because they're on a very little bit. But Ray is very team Bobby, so hence
Hmm.
friction with JR, which is always there.
Yeah,
Ray even says that he'll give him the $10 million that Jock left him or whatever because he doesn't like he'll
yeah,
back Bobby no matter what he's got to do. I don't think Bobby takes him up on it though
he
quite yet.
doesn't.
No.
Bobby pretty much sees it as like, no, 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 that's literally your money from Dad. That's not involved with anything. You don't
That
need to.
and that's the Bobby we know. That's the one that Pam likes. That
Yeah,
Bobby,
yeah.
not the fighting for Ewing Bobby. JR and Sue Ellen go back on Roy's show. Again, talking about maybe the Senate and all that crap. That never happens. Pam wants to go away by herself. Mark's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to France. I could get my plane, and then I'll go with you." And that's not going alone, but whatever. She doesn't turn it down. But she's like,
Yeah.
I think she said she's not sure. But then next thing you know, they're already in France. So whatever.
Yeah.
Holly and Sue Ellen meet for lunch. She tells her that she and JR are having a fling. Sue Ellen doesn't totally believe her at this point, and I think
Thinks she's
this is
talking
where,
shit and calls her a troublemaker.
and she says, "Look at the collar and all that." At that point, I think,
And I think
um,
Suellen goes home and like goes to look for it as well.
and she finds it.
She does.
Bobby goes to see Catherine, brings up Cliff, the Canadian deal, and Pam went away, and all this stuff. Sue Ellen questions where JR was the other night, and he lies, and that's when she finds the lipstick on his collar, where Holly said it was. That's all I got for that one.
Well, that was pretty much where it ended. Is Suellen getting upset over she starts to cry a bit.
Yeah. I know. I love Linda Gray, so I'm so happy she's on. But at the same time, it's just sad for her, and I'm like, because she's come so far. But anyway, here we are, episode
Well, this is
24.
the thing. This is that regression, isn't it? Like when we were talking about her, like her personal growth and development, etc., earlier on, being aware that she kind of falls back into bad habits with JR to a degree, you know,
Yep.
because he's a big, well, you know, he's the trigger for her because he hurt her.
He won't stop.
Nope. And she still takes like a while to get away from him, but when she does, that's the only thing too about like season 9 particularly is her character development in that season particularly is fantastic, and it's they just mess it up and then gloss over it the next season later. It just always a bit better about that.
So episode 24, Cuba Libre. JR tells Sue Ellen he's going to Puerto Rico. Catherine brings a dude from Wentworth to help Bobby the drill bit. He needs the drill bit for whatever.
It's to break through that problematic ice. It's like a experimental something or other, and it's supposed to be able to get through like the type of ice sheets or formations that the Canadian blokes are
Right.
dealing with. Beg your pardon, but yeah,
Oh yeah, and it's and she said something like they'll check tool and die to see if they have the bit.
yeah.
Aunt Lil, your girl, calls calls Donna, and Donna's like, "Come on over, come to town, let's go." Sue Ellen asks Bobby about JR's dealings with Holly.
Mm.
Um, and he fills her in like, oh, Holly holds a grudge. She just lost $17 million. So he's like, oh, okay, so this woman just wants revenge. So she feels a little bit relieved,
Yeah.
and like, that she could have staged that lipstick
And it's a
thing, which
fairly, oh, I hate it too because it is a fairly plausible thing for her to happen, especially like not just in the show, but in terms of like their business. People try and get at each other and fuck you over and stuff.
and he and I guess because Sue Ellen like says, Bobby, I love you, but I'm standing by my man,
Yeah,
and this
which
thing,
we all wish you would.
and he actually envies JR because of her standing by, where Pam is not standing by her man. But Pam shouldn't, because Bobby's wrong, in my opinion. Um, Mickey is not excited that Aunt Lil is coming out. Um, I think Ray has this conversation with him. He's like, "Listen, we're all the same. Like, we're all equal. Like, don't be embarrassed of your Aunt Lil." Um, I didn't really understand the embarrassment part for me. I don't know.
I mean, she does kind of think everything is too much. You know what I mean? Like, so what I mean is like, Lil is like the way she talks and stuff. It's like she, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, oh, it's so, oh, I couldn't imagine this or something like that. It's like she's literally so aware of where she comes from that she doesn't think she belongs or could belong anywhere else. You
Right,
know? And so anything that's more than what it's weird. Like it's I but it's like it's really sort of sweet and humble, but it's almost to like a self-deprecating way.
right.
Because she's not like some podunk idiot, you know what I mean? Like
Well, it's the same way Ray felt as when he
yeah,
married
yeah,
her,
actually, yeah.
and he felt the same. They just act like that, I guess. Runs in the
Yeah.
family.
I mean, I suppose I would feel a little bit out of sorts too with that type of sort of opulence. Like despite like the fact that it's like a big ranch and it looks like a ranch house and everything, it'd all be very ritzy looking.
Yeah. Pam and Mark are in France. They don't really do much with them, I feel like, in here.
They just established they're in France more or less.
Yeah. JR goes to talk business with Garcia, um, who is he the cute? I can't remember if he's the cute. No, he's the Puerto Rican one, I think.
Yeah, I think he's the Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, and he says, I'm only going to give you $1 million. And then he says, go to Cuba for your 40 million.
Yeah.
Punk is in it, and he's looking out for Ellie because Ellie's with Clayton, and he's like just questioning it a little bit, like, should we worry about this? Is this a thing? What should we do here? Um, and he's also worrying about the fight for Ewing, which is why Punk is around. And I believe he returns later for that too, in the last 3 episodes of the season, I think, for the finale of this storyline. Um, Donna talks with Ellie about feelings for Clayton. Cliff and Bobby talk about the Canadian deal. I think if Bobby loses it, Cliff gets it, right? I think that's the deal.
It's something like yeah, because they were shopping around for because of Bobby's time frame. The Canadian guys were shopping around to see if somebody wanted to pick up his investment.
Right. But even if Cliff can help with the drill bit, he still needs Pam and Catherine on his side to vote. So I don't know. Sue Ellen meets with Holly, and she says something about like, "Oh, you're trying to get revenge through me, and you're a sick little girl," and all this stuff. Holly's like, "Whatever, girl. What are you gonna do? I'm still gonna try."
Yeah,
Pam tells Mark she has things to think about, and he confuses her, which he likes to hear because I guess that means she's having some feelings for him. So whatever.
yeah,
And we also had Takapa mention earlier at one of the meetings. I had to make note of that. That was when was that? Season 4, I think.
yeah. I think it was season 4.
Yeah, because Jock was still very much involved in that. Um, Catherine arranges a meeting with Sperry from Wentworth Tool and Die about the new drill bit that they're creating or something that's supposed to be revolutionary of some sort. And that
Yeah,
should the thing that they could get to Canada and all that stuff. Lil, Lucy, and Mickey do dinner with Donna and Ray. They're just getting to know each other, I think. Nothing major happened. So Ellen and Clayton make up, and Ellie sees, and she's like,
What's that about?
what is that about? Holly goes to JR. He mentions Cuba. She's acts excited, like, oh, good, you might get my money back, whatever. I don't know if she thinks she's going to get her money back. She probably, thinks
I
it's a
think she's
lot.
mostly, I mean, I think she thinks, oh, if I can get my money back, awesome. But I think she's just using it as a base to, like, mess with it.
To fuck one of you.
Yeah.
Sperry lets Bobby have the drill bit for the Canadian wells. Lil tells Mickey, Lucy and him got nothing in common, and to go slow if you want it to work, and all this stuff. Again, the rich girl and the poor boy, which is the same relation. I mean, this is all the same relationship she gets.
Well,
You know,
it's not just that either. It's like the way Lil is, like, she sees Lucy as so, like, fine. You know what I mean? Like a fine girl type, that old way of sort of saying it, like you're upper crust, you're respectful, like like it's just that sort of thing where she's sort of overstating Lucy's kind of status in comparison. It's a little bit like, oh, you're better than me, you know? So you
which is so weird to me because I get no signs of that from Lucy. She's like, "Oh, do you want something else to drink?" Like she was like being a nice girl. Like
it's because like I think it's just Lil being completely in like culture shock almost, and I think
type thing.
I think that reflects on how she sees Mickey a little bit because Mickey's her kid, and I think that's where he would get frustrated because it's like Aunt Lil has always she's not gone for more because she's known her place. You know what I mean? In that class sense. And I don't know, it's the way he talks about her a little bit, like in and all that sort of stuff. And it's yeah. I love Aunt Lil because she's like I don't know. I think that woman is just a really great actor, and she plays that sort of matriarchal, motherly, maternal role so effectively. And she's got all the
Yeah.
right faces, and like, yeah, and when she's upset, you feel bad. She does the Ellie thing where she gets upset, and you're like, don't upset her,
Right.
you
Don't
know?
upset her.
Like, yeah,
I know there's some really good scenes, I think, in the next season with Lil and Ray.
yeah,
I
there
remember,
is.
and it's like heartbreaking, which the whole storyline is pretty brutal.
Is this also where Ray tells her that Amos wasn't his dad?
No, that's in the next episode.
Oh, beg your pardon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Never mind.
So Cliff and Afton see Bobby and Catherine at lunch, bring up the drill bit. Cliff says no, and that she's got to go through him to get the drill bit. He's not going to vote for a Ewing to have it. And she gets pissed. You could see her face. She gets that face.
Yeah. She has bitch eyes, like proper "I'm gonna kill you" eyes.
She does.
Like, and
Usually
they
with Cliff.
and it's all in that like that the way of like the sneer and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
Morgan always did it well.
And yeah, and JR gets stopped and put in jail in Cuba or some kind of prison. I don't know what it is, but it was really great. Don't you know who I
Yeah,
am?
yeah. The typical bullshit. Yeah.
Nobody cares in Cuba, buddy. Sorry. I forgot how we got. I forgot what the situation was. I'm like, this is such a weird situation.
It's
Um,
just like my dick is bigger than yours at this point. That's a power thing.
oh, why that man threw him in there?
Yeah,
It makes sense.
yeah.
Good thing they ended up being decent people.
Well, what I mean is like it becomes because I think it's because of what happened with Walt Driscoll. They think that basically JR's not being serious sort of thing. So he's like, okay, so this is what could have happened if I got screwed up. Yeah, stuff like that. I think that's what it's more about.
So our last episode, episode 25, Tangled Web. In Cuba, Mr. Perez meets with JR, gets him out of jail. With the money, for the 40, he has the $40 million, whatever it is.
The check or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's money in a suitcase or whatever, but he's got it.
They're called like I forget what it is, but anyway, it's some kind of money order, foreign exchange thing. But he
Okay.
has the $40, and then he wants his money, so they both kind of like exchange it, release the lemon and pull, like give me my money. So yeah, he gets the $40 million back. Bobby and the Canadian dudes, I think, the McLeishes,
Mm.
for the drill bit, another place because Bobby says he can't get it right now. He's working on it. In France, Pamela is on the beach. She sees some friends, introduces Mark Grayson, and then she mentions like, oh, there might be some rumors now that these people seen her together, even though we never seen people.
The thing
In
is these little situations, I'm like, maybe if she was on a beach in Dallas or something. I mean, what are the chances you'd come across people in France just randomly on the same beach?
right, right,
Like, oh, okay. Were you also on some sort of exotic international holiday for no reason? Like,
true.
and it's saying that. Imagine being Pam and be like, oh, life is just too stressful right now. I need to get away. And she just goes to France.
right.
Like, okay,
For
girl.
free, for free because it was on what's his name's plane, Mark's plane.
Yeah, so she's not even paying for the fuel.
Exactly. Um,
I need to find a way to get what Pam's getting.
yeah. And Mark comes on a little strong with her in these scenes too. He's like, I don't know.
He does a bit.
Yeah.
A bit
Holly,
80s really strong.
Holly tries to help Bobby with the bit. She mentions some other place, but I think Bobby had already looked there or something, so she really can't help, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Catherine tells Cliff off. Afton tells Catherine off.
I do
And is
like
on.
that. She tries to condescend to Afton, and Afton's like, I know exactly what's going on. If it was a bit later in the decade, or even in the 90s, she could be like, I know exactly what's going on, you pretentious bitch.
Right. And she's actually on to her with her wanting Bobby.
I love that. I love that Afton is the only. Why is Afton the only one that can see this, by the way?
I know.
It's ridiculous. And she sticks to this the whole time as well. And she's not
I
wrong.
I almost think because Afton kind of was probably similar like that in her earlier seasons when she was on.
A little bit. Afton was like pretty perceptive as well. I mean,
That's
like,
that's what I think it is though. I think she did get like, one pretty quick, like, moved on from JR and all those antics.
I
But
think
I
she
also
even kind of like flirted with Bobby at one point to sort of see where. Wasn't there a scene where she kind of hit on him, but he just
yeah,
kind of didn't respond. So Afton's not one to push it. Catherine's a psycho who does.
right. But it's also like a takes one to know one type situation. Like I feel like Afton,
I
that's
agree,
why,
just without the psychosis.
right.
Because we all
But
know
yeah,
where that ends up.
I like that she kicked Catherine out too. That was fun.
Yeah.
Um, I also like JR got gifts for the secretaries. I had to make note of that. He gives one to the
Well, he does like his
secretary.
secretaries. He does like the girls.
He gives one to Kendall and Sly, and he even has one for Phyllis, who wasn't in today or not in yet.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, cute. Did he buy Sue Ellen anything when he was down there? um, Bobby finds out JR got the $40 million back, and he's not pleased because now he has more money than he does, and he'll probably win. Whatever. If Bobby doesn't
Yeah.
figure this shit out with a drill bit.
Yeah.
Ellie sees Sue Ellen and Clayton once again having a nice moment, and she's like, oh. And Bobby tells Holly about the money. Ellie questions Clayton about his last love, and she's like, was it Sue Ellen? And he's like, yeah, but nothing happened, if that makes you feel better. And I think it does. I think it makes her feel okay. And again, she's still not ready to admit her feelings, so I feel like she's still working things out. And I think she's making excuses in a way for herself.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, if he loves Sue Ellen, he won't love me, and try to push him away. Like I feel like it might lead to that. I forget what happens, but
I think he
we'll
ends
see.
up. I want to say that I'm pretty sure they end up talking about it properly. I'm fairly certain because it's also a part of Ellie's mourning thing too as well. Like she doesn't want to. It is the idea of like not getting hurt, but she's also still sees herself as Jock's wife. You know, like and still sort of very much so. And like even that little conversation she has with Donna, where she's like, "I'm not ready to look at my feelings just yet." Like she actively isn't looking at them.
Yeah. Bobby plans on asking Pam for the drill bit. He's going to fly to France and talk to her, which I'm like, well, I guess that's if you're rich, you can do whatever you want to do. So,
Yeah,
because I'm like, that's a little extreme. Can he wait for her to come back? Like, she might come back in 2 days. She's not there
yeah.
indefinitely. Catherine says, just let you know, Mark's there too, because I didn't tell you that before. See, this is where Catherine confuses me. I feel like she's trying to be nice, but not in the same way.
She's
Like she
not.
didn't. But she was because she didn't tell that Mark was there at first, but she waited to use it, kind of.
Yeah.
But in a sense,
So
though,
that,
she used good because she was warning him that Mark's there, so just watch out because if you go there, you might not like what you
but
see.
that implies that there's something there when Pam herself has been saying they're just friends.
But she didn't tell him the first time, so she
Hmm.
was still protecting his
Catherine
feelings.
knows what's going on, so she's playing on the insecurities.
I
And
guess.
saying that you can, I let him know if she ever goes back to her, she can just say, well, he was there, Pam. What was I supposed to tell him when he was heading there? Like, Catherine actually plays it really well because a lot of the stuff that she's done or the little things that she's done at the moment can all be explained away.
Holly goes to JR for her money. Sue Ellen and Holly just miss each other because Sue Ellen was on her way there to go to dinner with him, and Holly was
Yeah,
just
that
like,
little elevator, the little elevator switcheroo.
one goes down, one comes up.
Yep.
I I forgot this too because I thought she was gonna see her kiss him, but I was like, I forgot about the whole bedroom scene, which happens in a little bit. Ray tells Lil that he is Jock's son. That was a pretty good moment.
Yeah.
Um, Lil's didn't want to believe it at first because she's like, no, no. She's like, oh, okay.
I think she's just always loved Ray. Like she's always seen him as her nephew. You know what I mean? Like that's my blood.
McLeish goes to Bobby and he's like, if you lose, can you sell your shares to Cliff? Because we don't want to deal with JR, which I thought was really great.
Pretty funny, yeah. And fairly I would expect.
And Bobby understands, even though he don't plan on losing quite yet.
Yeah.
Holly goes to Mr. David's, which I forgot to point that out before. Mr. David. I'm like, there's your gay character.
Oh my god. I did not even think about that, hey.
Mr. David's hair salon.
That did not even occur to me.
But yeah, there's our gay character. Although Mr. David wasn't in it today, but he was in the last batch episodes we did doing Sue Ellen's hair. Or no, maybe he was in the first one we watched actually.
No, I've just like reflecting back and I'm like, of course he was. Like I just didn't even register. I'm like, like
But it looks like they do nails and pedicures and stuff there too. So Mr. David does it all.
yeah,
Anyway.
the proper boutique.
Yeah. Um JR she says like JR will be with me tonight. So Sue Ellen calls for JR and forget he's not there at the time she calls or whatever, so she knows something's going on and he's out. So Holly was right. Mark and Pam get back after like being out together and they kiss and then they move into the room and start kissing. You think they're gonna bang, but Afton calls him, fucks everything up. Yay. And she of course it's a terrible connection, nobody can hear what they're saying. I feel like we always talk about this with these bad connections. It cracks me up. Um, I remember there was, I think the helicopter crash or something. There was a bad connection and they couldn't find them. I remember talking about that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's pretty funny. They love using the bad connection. I'm like, how bad could it be? Like you're calling a France hotel room from your apartment. Like it can't be gonna be that bad. Was phone
It couldn't
service
be.
that bad in 1980 something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it could have been. You might get the little doot, 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 because it's like an international call or something. But
Yeah.
back in the day, we used to get them for interstate calls here. It'd be like my auntie would ring over from WA, and it'd be like, dot, 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 dot. Like,
And they didn't
I'm
even
like,
do
oh,
like a
long distance.
they didn't even do like a fuzz on the phone. They were just like it was like blank, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Like, why can't they hear each other? They should have been like, shh, it should have been breaking up or something.
Yeah,
But whatever. Afton tries to voice her concern about Catherine and Bobby, but that's all really Pam gets out of it is something's going on with Catherine and Bobby, like, but I don't know what. She doesn't even think that it's an affair or anything, or like
no,
Pam doesn't
yeah,
even because that's not Pam. Sue
like a
Ellen would think immediately if it was like Jr. and Catherine, then she'd be like, "Up, they're banging. I gotta go home." um, after yeah, Pam tells Mark um that he's got to wait. She's like he wants her to stay there, and she's like no. She's like I got things to deal with in Dallas, and basically, I can't do anything until I deal with it.
yeah,
Although she hasn't been dealing with it while she was there anyway. So whatever. Like girlfriend just likes to put her problems on the back burner for a while.
yeah. She does.
Cliff is mad at Afton about the drill bit because then if he'll lose the deal if Bobby gets it and all of this stuff. So she gets upset at him, she yells at him, and then she leaves because she's pissed. I like that he says, I think of myself for once. She's like, for once, for always.
Oh my god, I felt her anger and frustration with that. This is what I was saying earlier, where Cliff just says this dumb, blokey, dumb shit, where you're just like, I'm gonna slap your face. I like, it's like, it's even like when she's sitting there, like just that almost bursting because he's just not getting it. I just think they do it so well as well. I love Ken Kershable.
I know. They got great chemistry together, those two.
And he just plays this idiot like the way he plays it is just so well done in terms of it's just like like bull like male bullheadedness. Like Cliff really has it, and Ken plays it really well. And I love the way Afton just is just like
And this is how we know that Cliff is back. This is Cliff.
yeah,
This is the Cliff.
for once, Cliff, for always. Like yeah, God, Audrey does it so well. Though it's so well done.
It is. And then we have JR and Holly are at her house or whatever, banging and drinking champagne, and she's keeping him there. He's like, I got to go home to Sue Ellen. And we see Sue Ellen outside in her fur coat,
She does
just
yeah, dramatic fur coat. You got to have a dramatic fur coat
with a dramatic, slow walk into the house. And I think she
because she
sees
knows
how,
it's true, and she just needs to see that proof. She needs
and
to. So Ellen is that type. She needs to cut her own throat in order to actually believe it.
I don't think so. If I remember, excuse me, if I remember correctly, I don't think Holly, she like she wanted this to happen to just screw over JR. And I feel like once she finds out what it does to Sue Ellen, I remember her being really regretful.
She is because she doesn't actually realize that Swellen's as volatile as she is. That she
Yeah,
didn't realize that it would. Yeah, because like it's like how do you be married to Jr. without knowing what he's like? Yada yada yada. I think maybe she just wasn't quite aware of. And that's that
she
thing about that the morality of all that happens in the last part of the season here is that people are doing things out of a sense of self-preservation, justifiably so, or survival, or whatever, or trying to make sure the company's safe in terms of Bobby,
right.
putting guns in Walt Driscoll's sort of thing. A lot of it, what happens is understandable, but this is the thing. People still get affected by this regardless.
Yeah.
And I think
She
that's the really hard thing about this season and why I like it so much because it does kind of go sad and it gets very tragic, but it's so well done.
yeah.
Everybody is partially responsible.
She really just wanted to hurt JR, but she really it really fucks Sue
It
Ellen
breaks her.
up.
It breaks her a fair bit, and it breaks her even further with what happens later.
Yeah. And I'm glad I don't remember it right now, so don't remind me because I do want to
I
watch
do.
season. great
JR
ending.
does something pretty terrible as well.
Um, so yeah, they were great episodes. I was very into them, and I definitely after this one, I really wanted to watch the next one, but I'm like, oh,
I do know that
unfortunately,
it build into that fantastic season final. Season six's cliffhanger has always been one of my favorites,
yeah.
if not my favorite one.
I do remember the cliffhanger. I just don't remember everything that leads up to it. I kind of remember some little things, I think, but great season so far, and we only got three more left, and we're on to season 7.
The big one, it starts to get big then. 30 episodes, I think, right up until like season 10. And then I
Yeah,
think season 11 is 30. And then it goes back to sort of your 20s into your 20s again.
right. Yeah, I know the last few seasons end up at 22 episodes.
You forget
As
how long the seasons are in the old Super Soap heydays. And then you go to the 90s ones and they're like 30 episodes. Like Melrose, oh shit.
But anyway, anything else about Dallas season 6?
No, just getting ready, heading into the really awesome season finale where everybody's kind of partially responsible for the things that happen. The moral gray area that is everybody in this, in at least in this arc. Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
though. I'm actually looking forward to it because it has been a while since I've watched it properly.
and then we'll get Priscilla Presley soon, which will be fun. All right. Well, if anybody comment if you watched any of Dallas, what did you like? What seasons did you like? I know a lot of people like the earlier seasons. I actually liked a lot of all of the seasons. I like the later seasons as well. I mean, yeah, it's not the same when people are leaving, but I still like
I'm
them.
more like, what does everybody think about the moral ambiguity? Do you think that it's like the point of the story? Like I'm sort of on the side of like it's supposed to portray this like sort of open-ended sort of thing where these people end up really screwing over other people indirectly, or like is it more of like a because there's always debates in fandoms like who's responsible this or that, but I'm much more of a everybody's responsible person. So what do you guys think?
Thank you, Patreon subscribers and regular subscribers, and we will see you soon with more Dallas.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.